3.
Good evening. My name is Dana Bowers. I'm an associate planner at City of Tumwater, and I'm so glad to be here tonight and connect with the Developmental Disability Coalition, and give you some more information about how Tumwater is preparing for the future through our comprehensive plan update. So the background a little bit is that our population is forecast to grow quite substantially in Tumwater, and we need to plan for that many people coming to our community. They'll need places to live, work, and play, and we want to make sure that our quality of life stays really high because that's why people want to live in Tumwater and in our area, because we have a great quality of life. So comprehensive planning is the process by which we engage with the community and we bring community members in to ask questions and to work through the process of what do we want our quality of life to look like, what do we want our community to look like, and how do we want to meet our needs together as a community. So with that, to that end, we have some requirements too. At the state level, we have the Growth Management Act, and that mandates that communities that are growing quickly set aside rules so that we can allow developments in the places that communities want them, and they don't just kind of spring up ad hoc. So making sure that we have enough space for schools, and we have enough space for houses, and enough space for businesses, enough space for industrial, and all the different sections or sectors. And then from that state mandate, we developed the comprehensive plan, and that really outlines goals and policies that fit the needs of our community. So we take that state mandate and we make it fit us. And we build that out to what the community tells us their priorities are. And then we take that and we design developmental code. And so the development code says, this is what our houses are going to look like. We're going to have, 5 feet back from the sidewalk, and we're going to have a porch on every house, whatever it is our community wants. So those are some of the things that lead into this comprehensive plan, and then what we get out. So again, what is the comprehensive plan? It is those goals and policies and implementation actions. So they guide all the day-to-day decisions and investments. They identify needs and services that support the growth. So like, do we have enough fire? Do we have enough fire support? Do we have enough first responder and emergency support? Do we have enough police support? Do we have, again, enough space? Space is a big issue because we also have competing needs. We have making sure that we have protected the areas for our critical species and for wetlands to do the ecological functions they need to do. And then one of the big pieces of this is making sure that all people and all voices are addressed and that they have all of their needs met. And we know that in our community today, that's very difficult. And some of our community members are houseless, and some of our community members have difficulty accessing transit and have difficulty with different things. So when we do this plan, we definitely want to hear from people whose needs aren't being met, and that's part of why I'm here today. I know that this is another audience that we can hear from. So what does this look like when we're doing the plan? We have the different sectors, and this just gives an idea of the different things we think about when we're doing comprehensive planning. When we have more people, we're going to have more solid waste, more sewage, we need more police. We talked about that a little bit, so I'll just move on. In the steps of planning, I just wanted to help everyone understand that the primary step is engaging the community and making sure that they know about what we're doing. So we actually started the process a year and a half ago into 2023 to start to engage the community on the broad and general comprehensive plan. So as we are talking about each of the individual pieces, so we're kind of going out to the community again and saying, okay, now how do you feel about transportation, for example, tonight? Or, what are your thoughts and what goals would you like to see when we're talking about climate? And what things do you need for housing? And so each of those separate has also its own outreach piece. Then after we gather that information and then we take technical data and measurements and census data and those kind of things. We gather that and we analyze it to make sure that we are meeting the needs. And then we evaluate policies. So we look at our current policies and say, you know what, these are going to help us meet our needs, or if they aren't helping us meet our needs, then we adjust them and we update them. That's step 4. And then we bring all those pieces to our city council and our elected officials, and they review, and then they adopt those regulations. All right, so the best time that we really want to critically emphasize this, the best time and the most opportunity that the public has to influence the rules that, you know, guide the everyday decisions is now. It's in our planning phase, because as we go, you know, kind of down the pyramid, we're going to have the process allows less and less public interaction and public influence. And there's a reason for that. One of the biggest reasons is that it's more equitable. If we all agree to the goals and the policies, then the decisions made from those goals and policies are going to meet everyone's needs and impact everyone, and the impacts will be hopefully shared. But if we you know, get down to the project level and we're making comments there, then it's, if we allow that to influence too much, then sometimes those projects can have adverse impacts on certain groups of people in certain areas. So for example, if someone really doesn't like that, you know, the new waste facility is going to be, you know, in their neighborhood, and they can talk about that, then that individual is going to have more power than the whole group of people that made the decision or made the plan in the first place. So we want to make sure that it's not about what's in your neighborhood and what's right beside you, because you know, as much as possible, we all want to share that those impacts and not put those impacts in places that are inequitable. All right. So when we talk about the different phases, we the community outreach is the first phase, and then we gather that information, gather that material together. And right now, for a lot of our projects, we're in the plan development phase. So we are just at phase 1 with the transportation element, and so we're really still gathering in the phase of gathering that information from the community and seeing what pieces they have. So part of that is our open house, and I will point you to a link in the chat below. There'll be a link. And then there's also some more information later in the presentation. So plan 2, many of our other projects are there. And there's also community review, where the community gets to review the drafts of the goals. So you have multiple different times to input, and you get to see the final product and make comments at that point. And then, and plan 3, phase 3, sorry, it should say 3, not 2 at the end. The legislative process is when we have SEPA is the State Environmental Protection Act, and that actually has public review as well, and it's a mandatory process by which we have to let people know. And that has state review and partner agency review, and so those levels also involve the community and the partner agencies coming together to make sure that we've made a plan that everyone can live with and is balanced. All right, so I want to just give you a quick update on some of the key chapters. So for housing, for the housing chapter, a huge piece of this work for us is equity, making sure that we have housing that is affordable for all people. So we have right now in Tumwater large areas that have single family housing, and then we have a couple interspersed, and you wouldn't even know they're there. They're almost hidden, but we do have some duplexes and triplexes and multifamily units. But we need more of them. It just, in order to help people have a place to live, we need to have more housing, more units. So that's really the push for our community. And then we do have a couple mid-level or mid-rise apartments, and we are seeing a little bit of development there too, just to make sure we have more and more units, so that we have, you know, if we have enough supply, then hopefully demand will decrease, and maybe some of the economic theory is that the prices will go down, and that's something everybody needs in order to keep it affordable. All right, we're also have participated in a displacement study But we really would like to know a little bit even further in depth about where displacement is happening in our community. I think the displacement study was done regionally, and we have an idea of what types of areas experience displacement, but we would like to pinpoint on a map, you know, this corner, this intersection, this community, this has, there's a lot of people moving out of this area right now, so that we can actually specifically zone in that area to let that not happen. So one example of that is that Tumwater is the only community in our region that has mobile home zoning protection. So what that means is the mobile homes are not allowed to be redeveloped into any other kind of residence. And what that does is it allows that land to kind of be locked down, and no matter who owns it, they can't turn that into high-rise apartments and like a commercial property or things like that. So it's pretty great for protecting, but we could do more in areas if we knew where other people were being displaced. And so another one is, you know, affordable housing. I pretty much covered with equity, and it's just critical that you know, we have more houses, so and affordable housing. We are not just focusing on rental housing, but also on affordable home ownership, because we want our families to be able to build equity and have longevity in our home, in our community, and not have to worry about being evicted or not have to worry about that housing stability. All right, for climate, we are through the first review of climate, and I just wanted to give a brief overview of the way that we're reviewing. We have the greenhouse gas reduction piece, and then we have the climate resilience piece. So I just put up a couple of examples of things that we're thinking about through this chapter, and the draft chapter is available on the 2025 comp plan website. So if you would like to read a 60-page document about what we're doing about climate change, please come and read it with us. If you'd like to chat with someone and you'd like to go through it, and we can also arrange that. And there are contacts at the end of the slide as well. So I just want to give a brief minute for folks to have a look at that and see some of the things. I think relevant to this group particularly is cooling centers, making sure that folks that are vulnerable, maybe they're elderly, or maybe I think the elderly is a really good example, but if they're particularly susceptible to heat stroke, like young, actually babies too, or young people, then cooling centers are really important, so that even if the power goes out, we have a place that they can go to that has generator backup energy and can be cool. So flood response and prevention is also really critical, because even if you own a home, you may be driven out by environmental impacts. We're also supporting non-motor transportation. So trying to help people connect to transit and to use and to cycle and walk, and make the facilities more conducive and easier for those things. So that's part of why we'd like you to participate in the open house, because there are questions about that and where we should prioritize those facilities. So transportation, without further ado, transportation. We are implementing, or we're developing, excuse me, a walking, biking, and rolling plan. So the walking and biking and rolling plan has all to do with how people can get around with non-motorized transportation. And we want to make sure that the plan we're making for the future is available for everyone and accessible. So it's really critical that your families and that your clients participate. And concurrency means that, you know, as we grow and as we have all these new developments springing up around Tumwater, we need to make sure, we need to make sure we can provide services for them, like proper roads and access to transit. And it also includes stormwater and different things as well. But we want to focus on how to make sure they have adequate and safe transportation. And that would include cycling facilities and walking facilities. And then safety is always a concern. We want to make sure that people who are driving are safe, and then also as drivers interact with pedestrians and cyclists, that they're also safe as well. So the open house is going to be was in person on March 19th, just yesterday, and now we have an online version. So it's live and available for everyone to take until about April 2nd, and then we're going to start analyzing that data. So there's a QR code for people who like to use those on the bottom here, and that accesses the online open house. And then I wanted to also show you all the different meetings we're going to have with the Planning Commission that are coming up. And I'll leave that as a reference. And then this is I believe, I'm sorry, my title is hidden by the share bar. So I'm pretty sure this is in the right order, but please follow the title. I believe this is City Council. So City Council committees are the General Government Committee, and we have the Public Works Committee, and they're going to be also reviewing as we develop these plans. So here are the links I talked about. We have the periodic update webpage. It's on complan at ci.tumwater.wa.us. And then that's the email. You can ask questions or request if anyone wants to request some, like a phone call, or if they want to request us to come to their community group and give a presentation and go through any parts of the chapter, any chapter, we're happy to do that. And then we also have the current comprehensive plan. So this is an update. We already have a comprehensive plan. It's not a new thing. We've been doing it since 1990 when the growth management started. And the comprehensive plan to date has been helping our community grow in positive ways. And we always learn more and we always want to improve. So that's the reason for the update. So the manager responsible for the comprehensive plan is Brad Medred, and he's going to be answering the emails with the comp plan or seeing that that gets to the right staff person. So I wanted to provide you with his contact information. Thank you so much. I'll stop sharing.